Hello, and welcome to At Home with Lucas. So today we're going to be talking about the GoPro Hero 9 Black. Yes, people, the day has arrived. This channel finally got a GoPro. If you have been following this channel from the beginning, you're going to know that I stated a long time ago I'm going to be getting a GoPro, and then the pandemic hit and I could not buy anything, so I put it on the back burner. But my beautiful wife did not forget that. She kept it locked in, and just the other day, for an early Christmas present, she gifted me the GoPro Hero 9 Black. I am so excited. I cannot, I've been using my phone for filming everything on this channel. 99.9% of the content on this channel filmed by my phone, whether it was the Note 10 Plus or the new Note 20 Ultra that I'm filming on right now. So excited, woo! But now I'll be able to do all the action shots. I'll be able to go on bike rides, running, do anything where it's more extreme. I'm gonna take this with me. So in this video, we're gonna be putting this GoPro to the test. We're gonna figure out all the ins and outs of it. We're gonna learn everything we can and then give a solid review so you can figure out, is this something that you should actually buy or maybe skip altogether? I'm here for you, so you don't have to waste your time buying and returning. All right, let's jump into this awesome review.
Okay, so I think I finally got the audio and video working. I had to download a webcam software from GoPro. Super simple, very quick to download. I had to restart the computer, and then everything was good to go. The only thing is I cannot get this GoPro to record the audio. No matter what I do, it's not pulling in the audio. I'm pretty sure I'm pulling in audio from this guy right here. I have that set up. So if there is any audio, it's not coming from the GoPro, and I don't understand why that is the case. So take that into consideration when you're thinking about buying this. The thing that's also funny is when you go to Zoom, this does not work on Zoom. This is on YouTube Live right now. Everything is being recorded through that. When you go to Zoom, it says there's no camera. When you go to Windows, it says there's no camera. So GoPro has figured out something with the main streaming services. I don't use Twitch, but I'm guessing if you threw this on and you loaded up Twitch, you would probably do the same thing. So yeah, and then also you have 4 different lens mode. You have super wide, wide, linear, and narrow. And you use the controls in the bottom right of your Windows desktop, and that's how you change it. But when you change it, this thing completely has to restart each and every time. So it's a little bit annoying. And you have to use a USB-C data cable. So if you don't have a data cable, it's not going to work. This came with a data cable. I was able to use that one. Also, I used the data cable from this webcam all in one, and it worked perfectly. So yeah, it's not the best in the world, but if you're in a pinch and you have a GoPro sitting around right now and you don't use it, turn it into a webcam. It does its job. This is how you will look when you're doing YouTube Live or any kind of live streaming. And of course, you can just set it up anywhere and do your live gaming, have picture-in-picture or whatever it may be.
Okay, so this is my first time going out for a run with a GoPro in my hand, and the thing that I found was these GoPros are really palmable. You can really hold them in your hand while you're doing extreme stuff. They're the perfect size. I always get scared holding my smartphone while I'm running because I'm afraid I'm just going to drop it. It's so massive. But running with this GoPro was no problem. It is definitely heavier than some of the other GoPros out there, but it did its job great. And the time-lapse, hyperlapse, whatever you want to call this, was absolutely amazing. Exactly how I'd want it to be for a good run. Yeah, definitely 5 out of 5 stars for holding in your hand and doing extreme stuff. Okay, so this thing focuses, or I should say doesn't focus, in macro mode. So if you're trying to buy an action camera that you can also put up close to a subject, you're not going to want to buy this one. It does not do that. And it's not really meant for that, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone out there was fully aware that the GoPro does not do any kind of macro, which also means if you're trying to vlog with this, you're going to have to figure out the distance between your GoPro and your face to make sure that you get a crispy image. But yeah, so this is just to show it does not have any sort of macro mode at all, and I've tried to mess with the settings and the metering, and nothing seems to activate macro modes. Okay, this is going to be the mic test. So I'm going to turn on this shot back right here, and I'm going to attempt to talk into camera. And if you can hear my voice clearly, then that means that this microphone on here has a truly 5 out of 5 star microphone. If you can hear my voice a little bit, then we're going to give it a 3.5 star rating. And if you can't hear my voice at all, meaning all you hear is the shot back, then we're going to give that a 0 out of 5 star rating. All right, here we go. We're going to switch this thing on right now. Okay, so if you can still hear my voice, then that means this is a phenomenal microphone. This is actually the loudest thing I own in my entire home. It is much louder than most shot backs out there. I kid you not, this thing is a ear-piercingly loud shot back. It is unreal, people, unreal. So if you can hear my voice as clearly as when we started, that means this thing is canceling out all the noise and just focusing on my voice. I'm talking a little bit louder than normal, but nonetheless not too loud whatsoever. And there you go. That is the mic test. So hopefully this thing passed it. If it did, then that's amazing, because this thing is extremely loud, people. Woo! Okay, so I've been using this thing for long enough that I think I have a full comprehensive review, and I want to start off with the build quality. So the build quality is absolutely amazing. It's made out of some kind of metal that is super, super dense and feels like if it takes a hit, it's going to keep on going for sure, which is really, really nice. Even down here at the bottom where they could have gone a little bit cheap, this is actually metal as well, where you mount everything on to here, so you can mount this onto other things. So even down here is metal, and then it's completely covered in like this really nice hard soft touch rubber all the way around here, and the screen is a little bit concaved, so that means if you drop it straight down, it's probably not going to hit the screen unless you hit a pebble or something, and it should fall more than likely onto its corner. That's usually how these things are weighted, so that they fall in the corner. And then the front of it is the same rubber material, soft touch, which is really, really nice. So the build quality is definitely 9 out of 10 stars for me. The only thing about the build quality is it makes it a little bit heavier. So this thing is definitely a little piece of lead. So if you're looking for a super lightweight GoPro that you could put on pretty much anything and it won't weigh it down, this is probably not going to be the one. It's definitely heavier, and it's small and compact, so it puts a real good it puts a hit on whatever it sits on or whatever it's mounted onto. So take that into consideration. This is not a super lightweight feather light action camera. It's very heavy, so that's the first thing you notice. So build quality solid, heavy not the best. That's why it's not getting a 10 star from me. The ability to access the charger and the battery is a little bit annoying and really, really strange, I think, because I'm not the strongest guy out there, but I'm also not the weakest guy, and this is a challenge to pull this thing down. And of course they're going to push back and say this is made out of solid premium material, and it's designed to seal and not let any water into here whatsoever. And if this thing takes a hit, then it's not going to just bounce and let water get in there and destroy the inside. So they're going to say, yeah, we made this hinge right here extremely solid and very aggressive. So it is noticeably aggressive to the point where when you first use this thing, you're basically like, is that a door there? Or you just don't know. Like it's really not user friendly, I'll say. And then of course over here you have something that looks like it's going to open, but it does not do anything. Once you do open this up, you realize that there is the USB-C charging port right there, and then the removable battery, which you can just pull out. And this thing really wants, GoPro with this model really wants you to have multiple batteries. They didn't really design this thing to be charger friendly, we'll say, because you have to wrench open this sealed lid here in order to plug in your USB-C charging cable, and then you can't close it. So what that means is you cannot run this thing while charging it. So if the battery dies while filming, you literally have to swap a battery or wait until the thing is fully charged, then you could start recording. Once again, they're gonna push back and say this is an action cam, this is designed to be outdoors, in rain and in water and surf, so you're never gonna be charging it while you are filming. But that kind of excludes the people that are gonna be using this indoors where there is no rain and surf and snow and action, and you're just gonna be using this thing as a camera, which is what I do, from time to time. So that right there is a huge failure in my eyes. Definitely not user friendly. And I get it. They're saying we're going to tuck everything inside of here so we don't have to make this waterproof. So it makes it easier for them. It makes sense. I'm not going to say that's a total failure, but for me personally, that just tells me that they want you to just go out and buy more batteries. So take that into consideration. When you buy into the GoPro, you're going to have to buy all the accessories from moment one. So this GoPro comes with one, or it came with one battery, and I'm definitely already looking at upgrading to a second battery, which means you may have to buy a charging separate charger, or you can put the battery in there, charge it up, take it out, put the new battery in, charge it up, then you'll have two fully charged batteries. So that could work, no problem. Okay, so let's talk about the powering on and powering off. So this thing does have the ability to do a quick record, which means you press this and it basically goes into the last recording setting you had on here and it starts recording immediately. I had to turn that off because I found it to be a little bit annoying. So I turned that off on this one. So the only way to get the recording to start is you have to hold down on the power button for 1-2 seconds and then it powers up. I should have also mentioned that the SD card is tucked away in here as well. I have a 100 gig or 200 gig SD card in there right now, and the SD card recording and everything is perfectly fine. But yeah, there's one single SD card slot, micro I should say. Okay, so once you do power this beast on, you're presented with this display, and it's really funny when you're filming with this thing because the display kind of makes you feel like you're holding or you're filming something very, very small. Like it feels like everything you're recording is microscopic. And that might be because I've been filming with my smartphone for the past 7 years that has been over a 4-inch display. So I think I've just gotten used to looking at the world through a larger display. And when you start to use this, you notice or you start to feel like you're holding something that's miniature, and it's really funny. It's a funny, weird thing that your brain has to go through to convince yourself that this is not miniature. It's actually filming in full frame, and it's a regular film, regular recording. So yeah, so the display is absolutely tiny, but it's not too small. It's just big enough. But it is definitely something you have to get used to, and it's really, really funny when you first start using it. You're like, oh yeah, this is hilarious. The touch-sensitive nature of this display is good. It does its job. It works fine. I never had a problem with that at all. I like how you can customize your own settings and you can name them. So I have this one named as indoor. So when I'm indoors, I don't need any kind of action cam active, whatever feature. So I turn all those off. And yeah, so I like how you can really kind of customize each one of your presets. That's really cool. Then of course it comes with its own presets. One thing that you need to take note of, if you're going to be trying to film in 5K, the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra will not be able to handle that file. Some Windows PCs will also not be able to handle that file. So 5K filming right now is very strange, and there's no way to downgrade it on the GoPro. So once you film, you are done. I can't even downgrade the 5K on my phone, at least as far as I know, because it's a file that my phone cannot even handle. And like I said, my Windows PC right off the bat cannot handle it. I would have to download some special software. So that's a little bit annoying. Do not film in 5K unless you know exactly what you're doing, or else you may have files you cannot use whatsoever. So I stick with 4K. But yeah, so this is all information that I'm sure everyone else has talked about. Touch sensitive nature is good. The drop down menu, it does its job. You can go through it really easily and turn things on and off. Everything works as you would want it to. The GPS is very solid. The Wi-Fi is extremely solid, and the ability for this thing to get updates is really, really cool. So you can get updates, and then of course you could do things like put mods on here. So you can add different lenses, and you can add a media mod, which is actually really cool. You have to take this door off, I believe, and then you put this media mod on that allows you to do microphone and add extra lights to it. So touch sensitive nature of this display, 5 out of 5 stars. It's just as good as any smartphone out there. Really, really responsive, very smooth. The UI, the user interface, is very fluid. It's very nice. Everything just kind of flows really perfectly as you'd want it to. So that's definitely great. Let's talk about the battery life. So the battery life is good. It's an action cam, so it's going to last probably longer than most cameras out there, especially with what it's actually filming. So it's filming, you know, really good quality stuff. And I love how you have the ability to go right here and basically change your lenses on the fly. But this is, okay, so this is one area where the touch screen is a little bit funny because it is so small. If you miss the touch of this, you'll end up doing that and knocking it back down, and then doing that and making it completely disappear. So I find myself sometimes hitting the corner like I just did right there, instead of hitting the W right there. So that's the only gripe I have with this touchscreen, is that it is small, and I think maybe if they move these out a little bit towards the edge, you would do a lot less corner hitting like that. Like, there's no reason why I should be able to hit the corner and not hit that W. I don't know who's going to touch this corner to remove the display. Display information, I should say. So that is definitely something that's annoying. Another thing, now that we're on the gripes, is the scrolling through of the different hold on, let me get this. Okay, that's another thing, is the gyroscope inside of here is a little bit funny sometimes, and it wants to stay upside down a little bit more than it should, and you kind of have to shake it sometimes to get it to knock down. I found that this button over here is really, really aggressive. You have to jam it in, and I'm sure it'll loosen up over time, and they made it stiff for a reason. There you go. I'm holding this horizontal, and it still thinks I'm in portrait. So that's what I was talking about. It sometimes will get stuck in, and there it goes again. So that's definitely something to take note of, is when you're out running or doing something where you're actually holding it in your hand and it's not on a mount, you may be out there fiddling with it, but it does a good job of realizing that it was off and switching somehow in the footage. I don't know how they do it, but whenever I look at the footage back, I'm like, oh, it figured out that I was trying to be in portrait mode the whole time and actually filmed in that way, even though the display was off. So that's interesting. But yeah, so cycling through all of these is a little bit of a chore. You have to really jam your finger in there, and it's super, super annoying. And sometimes, because these all kind of look the same, when you're out holding this in your hand and you're using it for running or something like I do, sometimes you're like, I think I put it on video, but in reality you might have had it on time lapse. So I kind of wish these were all bigger, like much bigger, so you could see it from a distance, and maybe like a different sound for the camera, a different sound for time lapse. You know, they could have done a ching, you know, not ching, but a camera sound right there, and whatnot. So yeah, and then once you get into here, you have your presets that are specific for each one, and then of course you can make up your own. So that is so cool. I really like that a lot. I did a 4K time lapse. I like to get the crispiest image, and that seemed to work really well. But like I said, one time when I was out, I had it in video mode on accident, and so I filmed an entire segment that was video when I wanted it to be time lapse. So that was super annoying. And this is oddly the slowest point of the user interface. It's so sluggish to go from one to another. I don't know why, it just takes way too long. It's just super annoying. So I wish they would clean that up and make that a little bit better. But yeah, so all in all, the user interface is really nice. You can see exactly how much time you have on your SD card. And then of course you can see the battery very clearly. It goes through different colors as it loses battery. So all in all, I'm going to say that the user interface is a solid 4.5 in my opinion. Okay, let's talk about this lens right here. Let's talk about the quality of the lens and the functionality of it. So if you're like me and you're coming from a smartphone like a Galaxy Note 20 Ultra or a Galaxy Note 10 or any of the Galaxy lines, any of the iPhone lines, and you've never used a GoPro, like I hadn't ever used a GoPro in my entire life, you're going to find out right away that this thing is not a smartphone replacement. This does not have macro mode. This cannot film anything up close. So the closer you get, it just blurs. It has a certain distance that you can be at and it'll be in focus. And then the closer you get, nothing, absolutely nothing. And that's because this thing is an action cam. It's not designed to sit up close and look at anything for any period of time up close. That's not what this thing is designed for. It's designed to get crispy out here. So the first thing you're going to notice right away is that this thing is not a smartphone camera replacement. It's not a smartphone camera upgrade, and you will not be happy in the using this if you think you're going to be getting a basically point and shoot camera. If you're trying to get a point and shoot camera that films up close and films far away, you're going to want to skip this entirely and go with something else. This is not that at all, at least as of right now in 2022 with the GoPro Hero 9 Black. This thing does not do any macro. So that was a little bit of a disappointment because I wanted this to be a second to my smartphone. But once you get past that and you realize what this thing is designed for, it's great, and you start to fit it into your filming, it's phenomenal. The quality of this image is really good. It's definitely not a clunky action cam sort of half sensor. It's really powerful. It does pick up some good image quality, and I love the fact that you can turn off the fisheye mode, so you can make this thing film like it's a regular camera, as long as you aren't trying to film anything too close up. So once you learn that, it's really nice. Let's talk about the displays. So the thing that I found to be the most annoying is that this display on the front is not necessarily a one-to-one of what's going on when it's filming. So it doesn't really, you can't really see all of it, all of what you're filming. So there is a lot more going on over here and over here that you're just simply not going to see unless you're looking at the back. So this front display is really just to line everything up and make sure that you have your shot right. And it's not really designed to be a full-blown rear image where you're able to see all the details and all the corners and everything. So I kind of wonder if GoPro is going to put a larger display on the front of their standard GoPros. I know that they have the Ultra or the Max or whatever, where it does have a giant display on the front, but that would be interesting to see how much bigger this display gets. They kind of have a little bit of real estate to work with, and then they have a giant bezel around here. So they could go a little bit bigger, and I'm sure that they will. But the aesthetics of this is kind of funny. You have this square here and a square there. It just, I don't know, there's something about the look of this front that's just kind of funny, and it just, yeah, it's quite hilarious. Another thing is that I love the fact that when you press the button, you get that loud tone, and then you get the flash right here, which shows that you're actively recording. That's really cool. And I found that when I was running and holding this with my hand and I had my glove on and I couldn't see the display very well, I started to rely on that tone, and that tone is perfectly loud. So when you're outside and there's cars and wind and noise, you hear that every time. Like you're never like, is it recording or has it stopped? No, they did a phenomenal job on that. So my review, my full review, my comprehensive review is basically to say that this is not going to be a smartphone replacement. Do not buy this if you're trying to do what your smartphone does. It's just simply not going to work. Let's talk about the microphones though, or I should say the microphone. So this microphone is actually really, really powerful. It has an amazing ability to cancel out the wind noise, which you could turn on and off. And it really senses when there's too much wind and starts to change things inside of here. And it really does a good job. I was very impressed. I even had my hand with my glove on close to this microphone, and it still was able to pick up my voice really, really clearly with good sound quality. So I was really impressed with that. Microphone, definitely 5 out of 5 stars for me. So this display will go off if you wanted to. You can turn it to where the display, I believe, stays on forever. And then of course you can set a couple different time modes or whatever for when it turns off. So the display turning off is no real big deal. These GoPros are designed to just be pointed at something and left alone until you're done, and then you hit the power off button. And some GoPros don't even have displays on them. So the fact that you have a display is mainly to set up the shot, set up the scene, and get everything the way you want it to, and then hit record and kind of just stand back. So yeah, so I definitely went into this GoPro thinking it was going to be a little bit more of a all-around camera, but it is kind of like a mainly action camera and then slightly cinematic camera. So if you're looking for something that is going to be in the studio, is going to be filmed indoors, this one you might want to skip entirely and go with something else. A point and shoot might do better. A Sony point and shoot in particular will do way better than this thing will do. But if you're going to be strapping this on and going for a run, a bike ride, you're going to be doing mountain biking, anything that's extreme, of course, you're going to want to buy this. But I'm hoping that I can help people out there like me who are like a little bit confused on what this thing can actually do. So if you're trying to buy that all-around camera that does a little bit of everything, skip this one, go with something else. My star rating for this is a solid 4.9 star rating. I'm gonna say that just guessing, this is probably one of the best GoPros on the market. Obviously the Hero 10 is the new version of this one, and it's going to have all the better features and probably get a better star rating and probably perform a little bit better. So there you go. Hopefully this video helped you out. Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's the GoPro Hero 9 Black. Woo! So excited about this review. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely click that like button. And if you want to join the At Home Lucas family and you want to be a part of this crew, hit that subscribe button. Every time I get a subscriber, I get a boost to make more and more videos. And it's because of you guys, I surpassed 3K. Yes, people, going strong, but I need your help. Yes, you right there. Tell your friends, tell your family, this guy's on YouTube. They should go subscribe and watch my channel. But as always, I thank you for watching each and every one of my videos, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to take a quick minute to talk about the sponsor for this channel, Don Pablo Coffee. Don Pablo Coffee makes an amazing variety of coffee, from bourbon-infused coffee to whole bean, to fresh ground coffee. You can find a perfect cup of coffee from them each day, every day. I absolutely love their coffee. Their bourbon infused coffee. It is a cup of coffee that is unlike anything on the planet. Buy some of their bourbon infused coffee today. Give it as a gift. Drink it as your daily driver. It is absolutely amazing. Also, this company is eco-friendly. They're for the planet. They are not putting a hurt on the rainforest. They're not putting a hurt on this planet. So when you drink a cup of Don Pablo coffee, you're getting a guilt-free cup of coffee. Woo! That is absolutely amazing. Everything nowadays has a little bit of guilt tied to it, but this cup of coffee is going to be amazing. It's going to taste so fresh. It's going to be perfect. They're a small batch coffee roaster, which means they don't roast giant amounts of coffee in giant contraptions. They roast them in a smaller roasting contraption, which means you're going to get a fresher bean, people. Fresher beans are the way to go. All right. Click the links down below, buy some of their coffee today, and let's all enjoy an amazing cup.